ladies, today is our last Titus 2 Woman Series video, and today we are covering the older women should teach the younger women to be submissive to their own husbands. Now, it is the last video for the Titus 2 Woman series, but I have a bonus video coming for you next Wednesday, so definitely check that out. If you're new to my channel, my name's Alana, and my channel is all about marriage, homemaking, healthy living, and homeschooling, and I would love for you to subscribe. So, submission, a very controversial thing, even among Christians, which is kind of sad to me. It seems like such a no-brainer to me, you know? All it is submitting to yourself under someone's authority. And God has made it clear that the man is the head of the household. He has made it clear in his design when he made man first. He has made it clear when he said a woman is to be man's helpmate. He has made it clear in several scriptures. Colossians 3:18, Ephesians 5:22, Titus 2. He tells us as wives to submit to our husbands. And a lot of women don't like the sound of that. And I think it's because they have the wrong idea of what submission is. It is not a man being a dictator in the home or a tyrant or a very domineering, controlling, commanding man. That is not what the scriptures want or instruct men to be in their homes. In fact, they instruct men to be like Christ. The marriage is supposed to model Christ and the church, as it tells us in Ephesians 5, when it tells the man to love his wife the way that Christ loved the church, to cherish her, to present her blameless before the Lord, to take care of her like he would his own body, that he would die for her. And the same, the wife for the husband. We are not our own. We want to live for them. We want to die to ourselves, to be selfless and loving. And then we are specifically called to be respectful and submissive. So yes, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. It is hard, and that is because in Genesis, when God curses the woman, he curses her, saying you will want control over your husband. When you look into the Greek, that's what it means. Her desire will be for her husband. Means her desire will be to control over her husband, to rule over her husband. We want to call the shots, and that is the curse in us, just always fighting, wanting to be in control. It is going to be a struggle for the rest of our lives, but I do think that as we grow in our sanctification and maturity in the Lord and in wisdom in the word, we will grow stronger in this area. We'll have more victories, but we will still struggle with it. And that's where the older women teaching us to have self-control and to be kind and all of these things come into play, because we're going to fight sin for the rest of our lives, but we have to feed ourselves truth to fight the wrong thinking and the wrong heart, and then manifest the fruit of the Spirit by living out outwardly our faith, walking in the Spirit, not walking in the flesh. When women object to submission being the right and best way to have a marriage, let's just say something petty. I don't know. I want to paint these walls green. Okay, and Hector says, I really don't like green. Can you choose a different color? And then I have this argument on why green is the best color for this living room and all these reasons that I want it green, and he still says, you know what, I'm sorry, no, I don't want it green. Well, if I continue on that path of I want it green, I want it green, I want it green, isn't that just being selfish, unwilling to die to myself, unwilling to submit myself under the authority that has been placed over me by God himself, the head of the home, my husband, the model of Christ in my marriage, where wives are supposed to follow their husbands the way the church follows and submits to Christ. It's so ugly. It's like there's two roads. It's either say, okay, I'll choose a different color, or fight to the death for the green. And I mean, you can apply that in huge situations, and there are, you know, there's moving, there's jobs, there's how you spend your money, there's how you raise the children, what school you take send the children to, and the list goes on. And in the end, the way that God would like to see it played out is, yes, we have a voice. I mean, our husbands married us. We are their friend. They care about our thoughts, our feelings, what we think, what we want, our desires. They care about their children. They care about the family. It's not just this one-man show. We do what we want. That is not godly at all. That's not how Jesus is at all. And a man is supposed to represent Christ in the home. That is not how Jesus is. So he should care, and so he should want to hear our thoughts. And then based on the conversation, whatever goes on in that conversation, he may choose, I like your idea to do your suggestion, or he may say, I hear ya, but this is what I feel is best for us, and go that. And so now us as wives, we submit to that. We say, okay, I've made my views known, my opinions known, my voice heard, I've shared my thoughts, I've shared my feelings, and now my role, the way that I can best honor the Lord, is to just faithfully submit and follow my husband. What's better, to be in God's will or out of God's will? If you submit to your husband, you are in God's will. If you don't, you are blatantly disobeying God, and so you're out of God's will. That's a little risky. I would rather be in God's will, unsure of what the future is going to hold for this decision that my husband has made, than out of God's will, fighting to the death for my way and my marriage, because that's what I think. Submission is not that the husband is commandman, the dictator, the tyrant. He calls the shots. You deal with it whether you like it or not. That is not submission in marriage. So we are not slave wives. Submission is also not a wife being totally passive, just like whatever you say, dear, whatever you say, yes, yes, yes. That is not submission either, ladies. I mean, look at me. Can I do that? No, I need to be heard. I need to be understood. I need to express myself and share my thoughts and my opinions. My husband knew what he was marrying before he married me. He does not expect me to be like, okay, whatever you say. Yes, my Lord. That doesn't happen in this house. I need to know and understand why. And he is willing to explain why. And you know what, you guys? 10 times out of 10, once he has explained why, I'm like, oh, I see where you're coming from. Okay, I'm with ya. Seriously, God has gifted our husbands with something that I can just not pinpoint, but it is something. It's deeper. It's not just wisdom. There's something. It's like they were designed to lead us and to be the head and to make the decisions. They're not as emotional as us, and they can just reason in a way that is just amazing to me sometimes. I will be dead set on what I think is right, what I think is good, what I think, and then I'll hear him explain why no, this actually, and I'm like, I feel stupid now. I agree with you. And then of course, there's been the other way as well. And I've come to him and I've been like, hey babe, this and this and this. And he's like, man, you're right. Like, of course, it's not just a Lord in the house that we follow. We have a relationship. That's what I think the Lord would desire, is to model to the world Christ and the church. Loving head, submissive, willing church. I think submission definitely is not a husband making decisions without consulting his wife, but I don't think that that means that they have to consult us for everything. Do I think it's more correct for them to consult their wife? Yes, I do. I have had Hector do something without consulting me before, and it hurt my feelings because I start to think in my head, he wanted to do whatever he wanted and didn't want to bring it up to me because he knew that I would object to it. So it hurts my feelings. And honestly, the way that I dealt with it was, my feelings are hurt. That really stinks. I didn't like that. But in the end, he's my husband. He made a decision and I'm called to submit to him. Why did you talk to me about it? Like we get. We need to submit to our husbands, whether they are doing the right thing or not, whether they are obeying God or not. But if it's going to cause any harm or danger to you or your children, then you do not need to submit or obey them. And if it is requiring you to disobey God or go against God's word, then you do not have to submit to your husband. If your husband is telling you, go faster on the highway when you're driving and you're going the speed limit, and he's like, go faster, go faster. No, because if I go faster, I'm going to be breaking the law. And so that means I'm going to be sinning against my Lord. And so I'm not going to submit to you and go faster right now. I'm going to obey God, not you. And you stay going the speed limit. Random example, but you can apply that to whatever you want. So really, in a nutshell, submission is just submitting yourself under someone's authority. God has made it clear that the man is the authority in the home. Your husband is your authority and you are to submit to him. He's made it clear in the scriptures, you guys. I'll put them in the description box. Check it out. I have other videos talking about submission. I've shared some personal experiences when I have totally failed in submission. It is valid today. The whole Bible is God's living word and it is applicable to today. Has nothing to do with culture, has everything to do with God's design for the family. God designed Christ, the church, to be the model of husband and wife, whether it's today or 1,000 years ago. And so we want to have respectful attitudes and respectful responses to our husband and when we submit to them and to their leadership. So they're the final authority. It is not, be quiet, lady, you have no say in this. It is not, I'm the man, I make every decision without talking to you. It is not, you are not allowed to share your thoughts or ideas. Of course not. It is, he is the final authority. He has the final say. So you fill in the blank, guys. Anything that you see differently on, you both make your views made. In the end, whatever he decides is the decision. And our response to that in a way that honors Christ is to be respectful and follow him and trust God. So I hope this video is helpful. It is definitely something that we will battle till the day we die, but it's okay. The Lord is awesome and he helps us to be more mature in it as the years go by. Don't forget, next Wednesday, I will be making a bonus video for our Titus 2 Women series. Thanks so much for following along on this series. It was really fun to do and I learned a lot of things. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video and this topic and share any resources that have been helpful to you in understanding more what submission means biblically in marriage. Have a great day and please subscribe.